that made one of my heroes great, Bruce Lee, no disrespect to the man who beat him in a speed drill, is that Bruce Lee was very much into his Chinese culture. Now, it seems like when some of us Black Americans are into our Black American culture, people have a problem with it. Some people may especially have a problem with me being into my African American culture because I was once called an Oreo and treated like I didn't like my own people at one point, which is ridiculous and wasn't true, but hey, you can't argue with the illogical. Just don't do it. And I say that to say that I got some gems from the martial arts from a guy who talks about Black economic empowerment. And you wouldn't think that that would have anything to do with the martial arts. But what you find is the more you're open to knowledge, things just come. It's like God just hands you gifts. And I find all types of stuff I can use at my software testing job, things I can use in the martial arts, things I can use in life in general, just by keeping an open mind. Not just reading in your field, which you should do, but sometimes principles are principles and gems are gems. And this is a gem that he gives up here because he's using an analogy for empowering yourself with economics. He brings it back to basic bullying. And that's something that's universal, that cuts across any race or ethnic group that has high schools or middle schools or elementary schools that has children in them where the bully tries to take their money. And I'm using this example because I really wish I could say it like this in class, but I can't. One, because of time, because I got to take people through their techniques. And two, because I probably at least get called into the office if I spoke to the children this way. Even if the parents agreed with it. I guarantee there would be one person who will have a problem with me saying it like this. But it's the truth. This is the true, honest way of how a child has to handle a bully, and the reasons why some people refuse to handle bullies. So we're going to play bits and pieces of it. I'm going to try to catch some of the stuff where I can that's a little over the top, but it's the truth. Let's get started.
You're not bold enough to chase power. You're not bold enough to chase no power. You don't know what power is, number one. And number two, you're too damn scared. You don't know who you are, and you're insecure, and you're scared to really say what's right. And so as a result, you're spending your time like the little shy kid in school with low self-esteem. What does that kid do? What does that little shy kid do if he has low self-esteem? He doesn't spend time gaining power. He spends time trying to get people to like him.
These are people that go along with bullying and, ostracizing other people. They don't fight back against the wrong. They just hope it doesn't come and get them. This kind of reminds me of the people who always said, use your words when I was being bullied when I was a kid. This is what I learned. Yes, you use your words, but sometimes you really can't use your words with people. You have to do something, and it may get physical. And a perfect example of that is when the police come to arrest you, they don't just use their words. They use their words and their tasers and their sticks and sometimes their guns, and they use their superior numbers. Why can't it ever just be one cop coming to arrest someone all the time? Nope. They call for backup, don't they? Because they understand power.
Trying to get the bully, maybe thinking, well, maybe if I give the bully my lunch money and I'm nice to him, he won't beat me up every day. That's what you are. You're like that little shy, insecure kid who comes to school every day, who just believes that if I'm nice to the bully, maybe he won't whoop my ass, and I just got to keep giving him my lunch money, and maybe he'll let me hang out with him, and I can be part of his gang and run behind him like his little bitch.
Oh, I didn't catch it, but anyway, you can't always be kind and nice to evil. And I am the ultimate nice guy. People that know me know that. But even I have to admit that sometimes you just can't be nice to evil. And when you're dealing with these physical bullies, you can't always be nice to them. Sometimes you have to strike back. And that does not violate the tenets of Taekwondo or the slogans of Judo. You try courtesy, and then if the courtesy doesn't work, you're going to have to switch to, you practice courtesy, use self-control to ignore some things, but sometimes you're going to have to switch to indomitable spirit.
And hope that he doesn't ever turn to attack me. That's where you are. You're not gaining real power. Real power means that you look at the bull and you say,
hey, I caught it that time. Sometimes you look at the bully and you say, fool, I'm not going to put up with you. I'm not going to let you beat me. There's a time and a place for everything under the sun. And sometimes the time is to put them in their place. Got it? Okay, let us continue.
I don't care if you ever like me.
I don't care if you ever like me. Stop trying to get approval from evil. We don't like to use the word evil, especially when we're talking about children. But come on, man. Some of these people are evil. Some of these kids have got to be evil. Not that they're irredeemable, but what they're doing is wrong. It's evil when they're abusing other children. That's wrong. And if the adults won't correct it, and really the children can't correct it because they're not in a position of power, the children can do one thing. They can make that evil focus on something else besides them. They can do that.
You step to me one more time, I'm going to fight you with everything I got, and I might lose the fight, but I know you're going to be scared of me because I'm going to claw your goddamn eyes out. And I've been taking karate. That's what you do. That's how you get power with a bully. You might lose the fight. You see, you're going to bleed. When you stand up to the bully, that's why people don't stand up to bullies. That's why they don't do it. Because when you stand up to the bully, you're going to bleed.
I didn't catch this the first time I tried to do a take on this video. But this concept of you going to bleed. See, one of the criticisms of traditional martial arts that one of my favorite authors made, I'm not going to say who it is, but I think people have this idea that just because you take a martial art, that means you're supposed to go in and out of battle with no injury to yourself at all. That can happen, and I have done it. But that does not happen all the time. I would dare say it may not even happen most of the time, especially if you're fighting anybody of any skill or note. That can only happen if you severely outclass the person. And sometimes, even if you severely outclass the person, they could sucker punch you. And what are you going to do then? So think about it. No matter how much you study and train, there's a possibility that you may bleed. But it's better to bleed than to die or end up in a coma. Or end up losing part of your eyesight. Or having trouble walking or talking.
You might lose the fight. But if you are working on your self-confidence, if you refuse to accept it anymore, if you start taking karate classes and you fight with everything you got, then I bet you the bully won't mess with you no more. He's going to pick on another victim, somebody who's less sure of himself, somebody else who's a little weaker, somebody who's going to back down a little quicker. And that's the problem with many of y'all black folks. You're getting bullied. That's why you go to these, you got these black professors at universities scared to tell the truth. It'd be different if you were scared to tell a lie. No, you're not supposed to tell a lie. But y'all scared to tell the damn truth. Y'all talk about racism in code language. Like you got to somehow keep your white colleagues from getting mad at you, from telling the truth about what's happening to your people. What's wrong with you? Oh, I know what it is. You're trying to make friends. You're trying to fit in.
Now, he's talking about social interacting in terms of politics and racism. Well, that's what's wrong with a lot of kids, is that you're trying to be liked and you're trying to fit in. Some of you is trying to fit in with people you have no business trying to like or fit in. Some of you young and some of you not so young. So he's talking about people trying to fit in with folks that may be racist. But forget about racism. Some of you are trying to fit in with people that glorify the thug lifestyle. Why are you trying to fit in with them? Why? You know their behavior is not correct, and yet you want their approval. And yet you get mad if they turn on you and bully you. Because bullying is something that's acceptable in that subculture. So you should not want anything to do with some people. People who like to bully others. Don't have anything to do with them. Don't worry about their approval. You want to know what you should get them to think of you? You should get them to think that they're going to leave you alone. That's what you want them to think.
Scared that if you go on Facebook and say something honest, that you're going to be punished for that. Like, what are you? Like, are you a 9-year-old? Is that what it is? You're a child? Because that's what racism does. That's what white supremacy does to you. White supremacy treats you like you are a baby. You literally run around here. I'm talking about educated Negroes, successful, wealthy Negroes, got good jobs, making good money, scared to say anything because they're afraid of what white folks are going to do to them.
And that applies to a lot of people. And I know when that, let me not get too technical. I know in the teenage years, it's very important for you to fit in. You feel like it's important for you to fit in. But it's not important. You shouldn't try to fit in to the point of that you're fitting into things that are wrong. And it's not right for you to just sit back and coast because the bully's not focused on you. Wrong is wrong. Bullying is bullying. And you should stand up for yourself. And if you can, you should stand up for other people too. So that's all I got because this video is starting to get long. But those are some gems that came across from something that you wouldn't even think would cross over into the martial arts. That's the true skinny on how to handle bullying. Sometimes you have to meet it with force. And taking martial arts can help you with that. You can't expect to always get away without bleeding. But as I know from personal experience, if you're willing to fight back, after a while, they're willing to leave you alone. Peace.